The Disappearing Room. Date October 15, 1992. Location: abandoned mansion, outskirts of Asheville, North Carolina. The autumn wind howled through the trees, carrying with it whispers of forgotten tales and legends. Nestled on the outskirts of Asheville stood a grand, dilapidated mansion, its once majestic walls now overtaken by ivy and time. For decades, the mansion had remained untouched, a silent testament to the mysteries it held within. Rumors had it that the mansion was haunted, but not by ghosts or otherworldly creatures. Instead, it was said to harbor a room that appeared and disappeared at will, taking with it anyone who dared to enter. Sarah, Jake, Mia, Tom, and Leo, 5 college friends with a shared love for adventure, and the unknown had heard the tales. Skeptics at heart, they laughed off the stories as mere urban legends, products of overactive imaginations. But as Halloween approached, they hatched a plan. Armed with cameras, torches, and a thirst for discovery, they decided to spend a night in the mansion. Their goal: to debunk the myths, record their experiences, and perhaps get a thrill or two in the process. But as they stood at the entrance of the mansion, the weight of its history pressing down on them, they couldn't shake off a nagging feeling. What if the legends were true? What if there really was a room that could vanish? Little did they know, their night in the mansion would be an experience they'd never forget, challenging their beliefs and changing their lives forever. The Harrington Mansion, as it was once known, was a symbol of opulence and grandeur in the early 1900s. Built by the wealthy Harrington family, it stood as a testament to their success and influence in Asheville. The family, consisting of Lord and Lady Harrington, their 3 children, and a host of servants, were known for their lavish parties and generous contributions to the community. However, as the years went by, whispers began to circulate about the family's eccentricities. It was said that the youngest daughter, Lillian, had a peculiar gift. She would often speak of visions and dreams that eerily came true. The family, though initially dismissive, began to grow concerned when Lillian spoke of a foreboding dream where the mansion swallowed them whole, leaving no trace behind. On a fateful night in 1923, the Harringtons hosted one of their grand soirees. The mansion was alive with laughter, music, and dance. But as dawn approached, the revelry ceased. The guests departed, leaving the Harringtons to their rest. By morning, the mansion stood silent. The Harrington family had vanished without a trace. No signs of struggle, no notes, nothing. They had simply disappeared. The mansion, once a beacon of luxury, became a symbol of mystery. Many tried to unravel the enigma of the Harringtons' disappearance, but to no avail. Over time, the mansion was left abandoned, its halls echoing with the memories of a family lost to time. And as the years turned to decades, a new legend emerged, that of a room within the mansion that held the key to the Harringtons' fate, a room that appeared and disappeared at will. The mansion's grandeur, though faded, was still evident as the group ventured inside. High ceilings crowned with ornate chandeliers, walls adorned with portraits of stern-faced ancestors, and a grand staircase that spiraled upwards, beckoning them to explore further. The air was thick with dust and the scent of old wood, but the friends were undeterred. Sarah and Jake, drawn by the allure of the mansion's vast library, began sifting through ancient tomes and manuscripts. They hoped to find any written account of the Harringtons' last days. Among the dusty pages, they stumbled upon mentions of Lillian's unsettling visions and her family's growing unease. Mia and Tom, on the other hand, were intrigued by the mansion's architectural marvels. As they wandered the corridors, they chanced upon a locked door on the 2nd floor. Its design was unlike any other in the mansion, with intricate carvings and a peculiar emblem. Their attempts to unlock it proved futile, but their curiosity was piqued. Leo, ever the adventurer, decided to explore the mansion's vast cellars. There, amidst barrels of aged wine and forgotten trinkets, he discovered a series of maps and blueprints. One particular blueprint caught his eye. It depicted the mansion's layout but had an additional room, one that didn't seem to exist. As evening approached, the group reconvened in the main hall. They shared their findings, and the mystery of the disappearing room became even more tantalizing. The painting of the lavish bedroom with the distinct red velvet chair seemed to be a clue. Determined to uncover the mansion's secrets, they decided to delve deeper into its enigmatic chambers as night fell. As twilight draped the mansion in shadows, The atmosphere grew palpably tense. The group, drawn by the allure of the locked door Mia and Tom had discovered, decided to investigate it further. With a bit of effort and some old-fashioned lockpicking skills, they managed to creak the door open. What lay beyond was both mesmerizing and unsettling. The room was an exact replica of the one depicted in the painting. Opulent drapes, a grand four-poster bed, and in the center, the unmistakable red velvet chair. But unlike the rest of the mansion, this room seemed untouched by time. The air was fresher, the colors more vibrant, and a soft, haunting melody seemed to emanate from the walls. Sarah, ever the brave one, approached the chair. She ran her fingers over the plush velvet, noting its surprising warmth. As she did, the room's temperature seemed to drop, and the melody grew louder, more insistent. Jake, trying to lighten the mood, joked about the room being a well-preserved guest suite, but his humor did little to dispel the unease. Tom, recalling Lillian's visions, wondered aloud if this room held the key to the Harringtons' mysterious disappearance. Leo, examining the room's blueprints he'd found earlier, made a chilling observation. The room wasn't originally part of the mansion's design. It had been added later, almost as if it was an afterthought or a necessity. As hours passed, the group set up their equipment, hoping to capture any anomalies. The room, with its ever-present melody and shifting shadows, became the focal point of their exploration. But as the night deepened, they would soon realize that some mysteries are better left unsolved. The mansion was cloaked in an eerie silence, broken only by the soft, untraceable melody that seemed to grow more haunting as the night progressed. The group, huddled in the mysterious room, watched as their cameras and equipment flickered intermittently, as if affected by an unseen force. Mia, always sensitive to her surroundings, felt a growing sense of dread. She whispered about feeling watched, her gaze constantly drawn to the red velvet chair, which now and then would rock ever so slightly, as if disturbed by an invisible occupant. Jake, trying to maintain a rational perspective, suggested it might be the wind or the mansion settling, but even he jumped when a sudden cold draft swept through the room, extinguishing their candles. In the brief moment of darkness, Sarah thought she saw a fleeting shadow move across the room. Tom, curious and somewhat skeptical, decided to confront the mystery head-on. He sat in the red velvet chair, challenging the legends. Almost immediately, his demeanor changed. His eyes glazed over, and he began to murmur incoherently, speaking of visions of the Harrington family, their laughter, their fears, and a looming darkness that threatened to engulf them. Leo, alarmed, tried to rouse Tom, but it was as if he was trapped in a trance. It took several minutes in the combined efforts of the group to bring him back to the present. Shaken, Tom recounted his experience, describing it as a vivid dream where he was both an observer and a participant in the Harringtons' final days. As dawn approached, the room's anomalies intensified. Shadows danced on the walls, the melody reached a crescendo, and the temperature fluctuated wildly. The group, realizing they were in over their heads, decided to pack up. But the mansion had one last surprise in store for them. The first rays of dawn cast a golden hue over the mansion, bringing with them a semblance of normalcy. The haunting melody that had pervaded the night faded, replaced by the chirping of birds and the rustling of leaves. The group, exhausted and shaken, began to gather their belongings, eager to leave the mansion's mysteries behind. As they made their way through the grand hall, the events of the night seemed almost dreamlike. The room, which had been the epicenter of so much unease, now appeared benign in the morning light. The red velvet chair sat innocently, its previous night's movements a distant memory. Sarah, ever the meticulous one beyond measure, began to do a final check of their equipment. It was then that she realized her camera, which she had set up in the mysterious room, was missing. Confused, she retraced her steps, leading the group back to the room's entrance. But as they approached, they were met with an impossible sight. The door to the room was gone. In its place was a smooth, unbroken wall, as if the room had never existed. The group, in disbelief, searched the adjacent rooms and hallways, but there was no trace of the door or the room they had spent the night in. Mia, pale and visibly shaken, whispered about the legends being true. The room had disappeared, taking with it any evidence of the previous night's events. Tom, still recovering from his trance-like experience, could only nod in agreement. The group, realizing the depth of the enigma they had encountered, decided it was best to leave the mansion and its secrets behind. But as they exited its grand gates, they couldn't shake off the feeling that they had become a part of the mansion's storied history. The days following their night at the mansion were a blur for the group. They tried to resume their normal lives, but the events at the Harrington Mansion cast a long shadow over their daily routines. Sleep was elusive, with the haunting melody often playing in their dreams, and conversations inevitably circled back to that mysterious room. Sarah attempted to salvage the footage from the other cameras, hoping to find some evidence of the night's occurrences, but every clip from inside the room was corrupted, displaying only static and distorted sounds. However, amidst the noise, the soft melody and Tom's muffled descriptions of his visions could be faintly heard. Jake, ever the researcher, delved deeper into the mansion's history. He discovered old newspaper clippings that hinted at other groups who had ventured into the mansion over the years, only to emerge with tales of a disappearing room. Some even spoke of members of their party who had vanished, never to be seen again. Leo, haunted by the blueprints he had found, reached out to local historians. He learned that several architects over the years had been commissioned by the Harringtons to add a room to the mansion, but each time the plans were abruptly canceled and the architects sworn to secrecy. Mia and Tom, deeply affected by their experiences, sought solace in each other. They often visited the mansion's gates, drawn by an inexplicable pull but never venturing inside again. As months turned into years, the group drifted apart, each coping in their own way. But the legend of the Harrington Mansion and its disappearing room lived on, fueled by their testimonies. And while they had escaped the mansion's grasp, they knew they would forever be linked to its mysteries. Years passed, and the tale of the five friends and the Harrington Mansion became a staple among local legends. The mansion itself, already shrouded in mystery, grew even more infamous. Thrill-seekers and paranormal enthusiasts flocked to it, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive room or experience its otherworldly phenomena. One autumn evening, a new group of adventurers, having heard the tales, decided to explore the mansion. As they wandered its vast halls, they came across the series of paintings that had once captivated Sarah, Jake, Mia, Tom, and Leo. They marveled at the detailed depictions of the mansion's rooms, but one painting, in particular, caught their attention. It was the lavish bedroom with the distinct red velvet chair, but this time, the painting was different. Alongside the Harrington family, there was an additional figure, a young man with a familiar face, sitting in the red velvet chair, his expression one of eternal contemplation. It was Tom. The new group, unaware of the full significance of their discovery, felt an eerie chill. They quickly left the mansion, vowing never to return. But the legend grew, now with an added layer of mystery. The original group, now older and scattered across different parts of the country, heard about the updated painting. They reunited, not at the mansion, but at a distant cafe, reminiscing about that fateful night. They realized that while they had physically left the mansion behind, a part of them remained forever trapped within its walls. The Harrington Mansion, with its ever-shifting rooms and timeless enigmas, stood as a testament to the thin line between reality and the inexplicable, reminding all of the mysteries that lurk just beyond the veil of the known. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on notifications. Write which story you like the most in the comments.